So here's the situation. Last month, I gave my husband a really expensive watch from a luxury brand on his birthday. And a couple of weeks later, he came back home without the watch. And I noticed it, and he told me that it had been stolen. He looked pretty upset about it, so I believed him. He said he had taken it off for a couple of minutes at the airport to fix something with his sleeves, and then he had forgotten about it and went to the washroom. And then when he came back, it was nowhere to be found. I was pretty upset about it as well, and for a couple of days things were tense. But then I decided to forgive him because people do make mistakes, and that was that. However, a few days back, even though I had thought that I would never see the watch again, I did see it. And I saw it in the most unexpected place. I saw the exact same watch at my husband's work party that I attended with him, and it was on his co-worker's husband's wrist. This co-worker, let's call her Natalie, is a good friend of my husband's, and in the past I have never had any reason to be suspicious of her. But when I saw that watch on her husband's wrist, I knew that something was wrong about the situation immediately, because here's the thing. That watch was not easy to buy. It was a pretty expensive one, and when I say expensive, I really mean it. So there was a long waiting list for it, but thanks to some connections, I was able to get it. And even then, it took me weeks to actually receive it in person. So I can vouch for the fact that this watch in particular was quite difficult to obtain. So when I saw that watch on his wrist, I decided to ask Natalie's husband where he had received it, and he told me quite happily that it had been a gift from his wife. Then I asked Natalie where she had found it, and I could tell that she was quite uncomfortable with that line of questioning, and my husband was also trying to change the topic. But I was not ready to move on. I insisted that she tell me, and the second she told me that she had gone to the store and purchased it, I knew that she was lying. After that, it didn't take me long to connect the two dots. And I knew for a fact that this was the very same watch that my husband had claimed was stolen. And I knew for a fact that he was the one to have given it to Natalie, but I couldn't understand why. I immediately turned to my husband, and without caring about where we were, I asked him why he would give that watch to Natalie, because clearly that's exactly what happened. He pretended not to know what I was talking about, but there was no way that he was getting out of this one, so I kept insisting that he tell me the truth. And my voice was also rising, so eventually he told me that he had only given her the watch because she was running late to buy a gift for their 10th marriage anniversary. And she needed it to be big, so he had done this as a favor to her. And this discussion took place right in front of Natalie and her husband, so naturally, that guy was quite upset as well. But I knew that there was more to it than whatever he was telling me, and without thinking, I just asked him straight up if he had been sleeping with Natalie, because that's what it seemed like. I had never suspected it before, but at that point, this just seemed a little too much to do for a friend. This was a gift that I had put a lot of thought and effort into, and I couldn't understand why he would just give it away to get his friend out of trouble. Unless he was not just friends with her, and unless their relationship meant more. And the second I asked him if he had something going on with Natalie, his face literally fell, and I instantly knew the truth. He didn't even have to tell me, I immediately just knew. He and Natalie turned to me and started telling me that there was nothing going on between them, but I could tell they were lying, and I was so furious that I just started yelling at both of them. I didn't even care that all their co-workers were there, that their boss was there. I just needed to get all my emotions out of my system. And once I was done screaming at them, I realized how embarrassing all of this was, and I decided to turn around and leave. By then, Natalie's husband had already left, so it was just the two of them who got left behind. I got into the car and I drove back home, and as soon as I was back, I started packing my things, and within an hour, I had left home to go and stay with a friend for a couple of days so I could sort everything out because I knew I had to leave. That was about 2 or 3 days back, and since then, my husband has been trying to contact me through every means possible. I've blocked him on social media, but I haven't blocked his phone number. So he can call and text me, and he has been leaving me as many messages as he can, telling me that I have it all wrong and that he has not been having an affair with, and he was genuinely just trying to help her out with the watch and everything. And he didn't realize that it would turn into such a big deal. He's also been telling me that he and Natalie are getting fired from their job because all of the screaming, and now because their boss and everybody else thinks that they've been hooking up, and even the higher ups got wind of it, they're being terminated because of some policy violations or whatever. He's telling me that this is my fault because I don't even know what's going on, and yet I decided to scream at both of them and embarrass him in front of their co-workers. So now the least I can do for him is to at least meet him and talk to him. Here's the thing. I don't really want to meet him, and I definitely don't want to talk to him right now because I know that he's just gonna lie to me. This might sound crazy, but I know my husband. I've known him for a very long time, and I know when he's lying. He and I have been together for the past 12 years. We've been married for 8 years. And trust me on this, I can always tell when he's lying to me. And that day, when he was telling me that he and Natalie had nothing to do with each other, that they were just co-workers and friends and nothing more than that, I could see it in his eyes that he was lying. I don't have any proof. And I know that hard proof is what I really need, and I know that I'll manage to find it somehow, but for now, I'm just going by my gut instinct. And my gut tells me that he definitely had something going on with her and he's not willing to tell me the truth. Anyway, for now, I know that I don't want to talk to him. I'm just wondering if that's making me the bad guy here because I'm not even willing to give him a chance to explain. I mean, there might be a 10% chance that he's telling the truth, but I don't know. I'm just very confused. Every time I want to talk to him, I just keep thinking about the fact that even if he is not cheating on me or whatever, he still gave the watch that I had given to him as a gift and had gone to such extreme lengths for, to Natalie, without even thinking how I would feel. And then he had lied about it. So that's pretty bad. I just don't know what to think anymore. I'm totally confused, and honestly, I feel like the sooner I get this all over with, the better this will be for all of us. Anyway, AITA for not wanting to talk to my husband because I think that he's been cheating on me. Update 1. Hey, so it's been 2 days since my last update, and after going through the comments, I decided to finally give my husband a chance to at least talk to me. Even if I decide to get a divorce from him, at least I'll have the satisfaction of knowing I gave him a chance to talk to me and clear things out. I won't keep wondering about whether I did the right thing or not for the rest of my life. So that's why I decided to call him up a couple of hours ago, and then we met for lunch. I didn't want to meet him at home because I didn't want to be alone with him. I wanted to have this conversation in a public place, so he wouldn't be able to manipulate or brainwash me, if you know what I mean. Anyway, when we met, he looked very upset and exhausted, and he told me he had been fired from his job. I told him that I was sorry for having screamed at him in public, but I just couldn't control my emotions knowing what he had done. Then I proceeded to tell him exactly how I had been able to manage that watch as a gift for him. I told him how difficult it had been for me, and I also told him how much I had spent on it, something I hadn't informed him about before. And when I told him all about it, he started crying, and I mean, he was literally sobbing. He was kind of loud as well, so we got a couple of looks from the other tables, and I had to tell him to get a grip because I was quite concerned. And this was not like him at all. He's not a very emotional guy, so for him to break down like that, it was really weird. But then, when he finally spoke, I could understand why he broke down, because apparently I was right about everything. He definitely had been sleeping with Natalie. And he was just upset that I had gone to such lengths for him, and he had totally broken my heart and stomped all over the trust I had in him. Apparently, this has been going on for the past year or so. They've been hooking up on a regular basis. He didn't even have to go on a work trip. He had been on a trip with Natalie when he decided to give up that watch to her so she could give it to her husband. Natalie's husband had been having doubts about her, and she wanted to put it all to rest. But she had forgotten to get him a gift for their anniversary, which was just a couple of days after that trip. So that's why my husband decided to give her the watch, so she could give it to her husband as a gift. And unfortunately, he ended up wearing it to the work party and she didn't even notice, which is how we found out. He was crying while telling me all this, and he told me that he had been planning on lying to me and trying to get me back today. But after I told him exactly how much difficulty I had gone through to get him that watch, just to make him happy, he couldn't bring himself to lie to me anymore. At that point, I didn't even know what to say. I was just numb and I was just frozen. For a couple of minutes, he just kept on telling me that he was really sorry about everything he had done, and that if I wanted to leave, I was free to do so, because he was not in a position to ask me for anything, not even forgiveness. He was blubbering, he was looking down at the table, he couldn't even look me in the eye as he was talking to me. It was pathetic. It was just a really bad mess, and a couple of minutes later I decided to leave. I didn't say anything to him because I had already had everything I needed to know. He had been cheating on me for a year, and I had been right about everything. Honestly, while I was leaving, I felt like my life had gone to absolute crap. But at least now I knew the truth. I was right. And never in my life had I ever felt so terrible about being right before. Anyway, it's been a couple of hours since then. I've come back home, and a few minutes back, before I started writing this post, my husband sent me a text telling me that I could file for a divorce if I wanted to, and whatever the terms of the divorce were going to be, he was going to agree to it, no questions asked. He told me that he wanted me to have whatever I wanted, and he just felt so guilty that he was ready to give up anything just to make things easier for me. He apologized for everything, told me he didn't deserve me, and well, he's right about that. He definitely doesn't deserve me, and I'm definitely going to be filing for a divorce now. Honestly, everything is a total mess right now. I don't know how to feel about anything. I'm just broken and shattered on the inside. But I've got to hold myself together. I know that for a fact. I still have to look for a place for myself. I have to deal with all the formalities, legal obligations, and everything. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'll get through it. I've already spoken to my friend about staying with her for a couple more weeks, and I've told her everything I'm going through, and thankfully she's been kind enough to tell me that I can stay with her for as long as I need to. So that's one problem solved, at least. And I'm truly grateful to have friends like this in my life. She's also helping me look for a divorce attorney, so that's going to be helpful. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that I can get through all of this quickly, because I'm done. Update 2. So it's been 2 weeks since the last update, and I have finally filed for a divorce, and my husband has been served as well. After we had that conversation where he told me the truth about everything, we didn't get to talk. The last thing that he sent me was that apology, and I really took it seriously. So I decided to demand the house in the divorce, anything that was the biggest of my claims. That plus the cost of the watch that I had bought for him, because it was a pretty expensive one and I didn't want to waste it. I think I was being perfectly fair because I was splitting everything else. All our savings were going to be split because that's how we always dealt with it. We always went 50-50 on that stuff, and whatever his assets were, he was free to keep them. I didn't want it. In fact, I didn't want anything more than the house and the money for the watch. That's it. I thought it would be easy for me as well because he had literally told me that I could demand anything I wanted and he would be more than happy to give it up for me because he felt guilty. And I was not even leveraging that guilt for anything great. But even then, I should have known that he was going to go back on his word. I should not have expected him to stay loyal to his word. Not after everything that has happened. Anyway, he's fighting me for the house. He tried to explain it as well. He sent me a text a couple of days ago saying that he really wanted to give it up and he knew that he had said certain things about giving me whatever I wanted to make everything easier for me. But at the end of the day, he had been quite emotional back then, and right now he didn't think it would be fair for him to give me the house because both of us had purchased it together, so it was only fair for us to sell the house and split the profit like everything else. I mean, I really should have known that this was happening because this is the kind of person he is. But anyway, I'm not too worried because I do have a good lawyer by my side, and I know that we might be able to get the house, especially given the fact he cheated on me. And even though I might not have been able to prove it before, I definitely will be able to prove it now, all thanks to Natalie and her husband. So like I said, Natalie's husband had already been suspecting her of infidelity, and whatever happened at the party that day was just the last straw for him. They are also getting divorced, and I know that because he reached out to me a couple of days ago to let me know he had a lot of proof to show that Natalie and my husband have been having an affair. So if I needed it, I should text him and let him know, and he would be more than happy to send me whatever he had, because after all, I was the reason he even found out about all this, because I was the one who spotted that watch on his wrist and figured everything out. It was quite nice of him to do this because we don't really know each other that well. We've only met each other at my husband and Natalie's work parties, but anyway. I did reach out to him and told him that I would like to have some proof because that would definitely help my case during the divorce. So he sent me a bunch of screenshots of relevant texts and chats and receipts, and trust me, the amount of evidence was overwhelming. So now I have everything I need, and I'm pretty sure that the house will not be that difficult for me. He also wished me best of luck because he figured that I was also going through divorce. And yeah, given the fact that we are in the exact same situation right now, it was nice to have somebody to talk to who understood exactly what I was going through. At least he and Natalie have a daughter together, so it's not like he's walking away with nothing, because he will still have shared custody of their daughter. But I don't even have a child out of this marriage. I really want one. I've always wanted a family, but quite early on in our marriage, when I brought it up in the beginning, my husband had made it very clear that he never wanted children. We did have a couple of fights about it, but in the end I decided to let it go because for me, it was more important to be with him than to have family. I figured I could just be happy with him, and that would be good enough for me, and it was. It was definitely good enough for me for the past many years, but I guess it was not good enough for him, which is why he decided to go out of his way to cheat on me. Now, I regret having given up anything for him at all. I shouldn't have, and I should have let the marriage go instead of compromising, but whatever. It's too late to think about that now. Update 3. So, 3 weeks since my last update, and the divorce proceedings are in full swing right now. Everything is pretty tiring. I come back home exhausted every day, but at least I have my friend to support me emotionally. I'm still staying with her. I just can't imagine living on my own right now. It would be way too lonely after having spent so many years with my husband. Thankfully, she seems happy to have me around, and I'm lucky I have at least one single friend who's happy to be with me. I don't have a lot of other friends, but they are all married and have kids, so staying with them had not been an option, because I think that would have made me even more miserable, knowing that now. I don't have a marriage, and I don't have a child either. But I guess at least one of them is fixable, because my friend has told me I can always adopt, and I'm considering it. After the divorce, once I feel slightly better, I think I will try adopting a child because that's something I've always wanted. I've always wanted to be a mother, and it might be a little risky for me to get pregnant now, but I can help improve my life and another child's life by choosing to adopt, so I think I'll go for that. I'm looking forward to it, but that's still a long way in the future, so I'll have to wait. As for my husband, he's been making things as difficult for me as possible during the mediation sessions, and he's not sticking by his words at all. Regarding whatever he had said about wanting to make things easy for me. But it's okay, I have all the proof on my side and I have a good lawyer, so I'm not scared. But I'm just annoyed that the least he could have done for me was make things easier for me during the divorce. And he's not even willing to do that, especially after everything that we did. Today we had a pretty tiring session, and by the end of it, I just wanted never to see him again. And I truly think that if he falls off the face of the earth, I wouldn't even care at this point because this is not the person I used to know. I don't know what has gotten into him. I don't understand how he has become so evil. Or maybe he was always like this and I just never noticed because I couldn't be bothered to take off my rose-colored glasses. But believe me, they are off now. I can't imagine how I spent the past 12 years of my life with this guy, and honestly, I regret all of that now. I should have ended things with him long ago. Pretty much when he told me that he didn't want to have children. That was my dream. And he broke it into pieces and then he stomped all over by cheating on me. But whatever. I know that he will get his karma someday and I will be the happiest person then. Update 4. Hey, so it's been a couple of months since my previous update and I'm happily divorced now. Special emphasis on the happily because it's finally over now. The divorce came through a couple of days ago and thankfully it was finalized on my terms. I got the house, obviously. I'm not going to be moving back into it. I'm going to be selling it because I have no intention of staying in that house by myself ever again. I'm still living with my friend and she told me that she's going to help me look for an apartment, but we're not in a rush. We are taking our time because by now we pretty much got used to staying together. However, I know for a fact that at some point I'm going to have to move out because I can't live with her forever as much as I would like to. She's been dating a guy for the past 8 months, and in the beginning when I originally walked in with her, it was not that serious, but they are getting serious now and I think they might want to move in together pretty soon. She's never said anything about it, but I know that she definitely wants to. So I can tell, and I don't want to stand in the way of that because I want her to be happy. I know she would never ask me to leave, so I'm going to have to do it by myself and hope for nothing but the best for my friend, especially after whatever she has done for me. I really can't thank her enough. I'm planning on buying her something very expensive for her birthday coming up in a couple of days. I mean, that's the least I can do for everything that she has done for me. Anyway, all that aside, I do have some plans for my future as well. So because I've been working exceptionally hard for the past couple of months so that I have something to distract myself from my personal life, it's been noticed by the bosses and they have decided to promote me. That's a pretty good sign from the universe, and I have finally decided to try and adopt a child, so I've put in the application and everything now. I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed. I'm truly excited for the future. I'm going to have a new apartment and I'm going one step up in my career. And if everything goes well, I'm even going to have a child. It feels so weird to say it out loud. I don't want to jinx it. So I'm not going to say it to anybody else yet. But my friend knows and my parents know and they're all happy for me. So I'm looking forward to all of this coming to fruition now. Honestly, looking back, I think the best thing my husband could have done for me was leave me. And I'm glad that we are done for now. Yes, the 12 years that I spent with him are always going to be a major part of my life, whether I like it or not, but now I'm ready to move on to the next chapter. After all, my life is not over yet. I'm still here and I'm ready for a fight. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited for the future and whatever it holds. Update 5. Hey guys, so it's been 3 years since my divorce, and I'm the mother of a 4-year-old now. I fostered him for a couple of months 2 years ago because his parents were not in a position to be taking care of him for personal reasons, and eventually they decided to give him up to me for adoption, and now he's my child. I love my son more than anything else in the world. I didn't even know it was possible to love another human being this much, but here we are. I'm very happy. I couldn't have asked for a better life. My work's going great, and in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be attending my friend's wedding. In my last update 3 years back, I had said that she was getting serious with the guy, and that's why I want to move out ASAP. And now she's marrying that same guy. I'm going to be her maid of honor, and my son is going to be the ring bearer, and I'm just so excited. It's going to be perfect. I'm so happy for her. Life's going pretty well for me. I have no complaints, and I'm truly thankful to the universe that Natalie's husband wore that watch to the work party that day. Because if that had not happened, I never would have met my son. So I'm truly grateful. I really am. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.